Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over the assignment agreement. Now, this is the form used to transfer your equitable rights in the purchase agreement to your investor or to your cash buyer. So once you put a property under contract and you have a buyer lined up for it, you and the buyer are going to sign this agreement. The seller doesn't get a copy of it. It's only between you and the buyer. You'll send your purchase agreement and this form to the title company so the title company knows that that investor is stepping into your shoes to buy the property and that you will get a check for $7,500 at closing from the buyer's funds. Okay, so when he sends his funds over to the title company or she sends her funds over to the title company to purchase the property, they're going to do the purchase price of the property, which was $70,000 in our example, plus $7,500 as an assignment fee, and then any closing costs. All right, so they're going to wire your money or your assignment fee to the title company so you can get paid at closing. So in this form, we're just going to list our assignment fee here, whatever you determine it to be, and you're going to list your name as the assigner. And the contract says assigner hereby assigns and otherwise transfers to Ivan investor, the cash buyer that you've got lined up, all rights, title, and interest held by assigner in and to the contract described as follows. And we're going to put the information from the purchase agreement here, the date on the purchase agreement, the sellers, Harry homeowner and Sally homeowner, and your name from the purchase agreement as the buyer, concerning the property located at, and then you're going to list the address of the property. Then the agreement goes on to say, assigner warrants and represents that said contract is in full force and effect and is fully assignable. Assigner further warrants that it has the full right and authority to transfer said contract, and that contract rights herein transferred are free of lien, encumbrance, or adverse claim. Said contract has not been modified and remains on the terms contained therein. Okay, so you're saying that this contract's good, it's assignable, you have the authority to transfer it, and everything's good. Is exactly like it says in the purchase agreement. Then it goes on to say, assignee hereby assumes and agrees to perform all remaining obligations of assignor under the contract and agrees to indemnify and hold assigner harmless from any claim or demand resulting from non-performance by assignee. Assignee shall be entitled to monies remaining to be paid under the contract, which rights are also assigned hereunder. All right, so that section just says that the investor that you're assigning this to agrees that he's going to move forward and comply with everything in the purchase agreement. All right, and if they don't do it, you're not held responsible. All right, it's on them, it's not on you. All right, the assignment fee shall be paid at the time of closing to assigner in form of cash, official check, or wired transfer, and recorded on the settlement statement. All right, so it's just saying you're going to get your $7,500 at closing. All right, closing shall take place no later than 4/20/21 is what we have on here, because that's the date we had on our example purchase agreement. All right, they have to abide by the terms of that purchase agreement, so that's when they have to close by. Assignee has given a non-refundable deposit of $100 to be held in escrow at your title company. All right, so if you put $100 on the purchase agreement as the non-refundable deposit, you want your investor to send that money over, because you want them to pay that earnest money deposit. It is hereby acknowledged by assignee that this assignment of contract agreement and the original contract for sale and purchase is not assignable by a assignee without the express written authorization of a signer, authorization of which may be withheld for any reason by a signer. All right, so what that says is that you're assigning your rights to the buyer. They can't turn around and do it to, assign their rights to somebody else. They have to buy the property unless you say otherwise. All right, so this protects you from getting another wholesaler acting as a buyer and then assigning it to somebody else and on down the line. All right, so this just says I'm assigning it to you and you have to buy it. This assignment shall become in effect as of the date last executed and shall be binding upon and ensured to the benefit of the parties, their successors and assigns. Okay, and then you sign it, and the person you're assigning it to signs it, and then you're done. And you take the purchase agreement, you take this assignment agreement, and you get it to the title company so they know all the parties involved, and that's it. Okay, so I will see you in the next video where we're going to talk about a JV agreement or a joint venture agreement.